Buckle up, Buttercups. Rex Bear League Project. How the heck are you? Look who it is. We have Angie with us from Path of the Sun. Angela, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for being a guest on League Project. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great. Hello, League Project family.
I called you by your nickname, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
I guess. Anyway, so this is, okay, ladies and gentlemen, the predictions and forecasts for 2026 and beyond are going to be, like, I would just say buckle up. Get your non-organic popcorn. Be ready to go for this one. Grab your favorite beverage because we got a lot to talk about. Now, I go back to the predictions from 2023 that I made for 2024 and beyond. We're going to show those. I've got the timestamp on it. And about half of those hit. We made about 30 predictions, and about half of those hit. And some of those are still happening as we speak. 66 predictions and forecasts on my side. And Ange, I don't know how many you have, but do you have like double that?
No.
Okay. But you do have some predictions for us.
I have ideas, yeah, of what might be needed, like emotional, spiritual level. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say, which is more kind of like what's happening like within the physical world, you know, and then mine's more like the woo, maybe.
Okay.
Kind of woo, like what you might need to get through whatever it is that you are predicting. So I'm anxious to see if they actually coincide.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I was going to give a huge shout out to Boomer Boost. Folks, they need to change their name to Gen X Boost. But anyway, it's not about the name. The products are amazing, absolutely amazing products. I'm just joking about that. But if you go to boomerboost.com and you place your order and you use the code REX20, you'll get an additional 20% off your order. If you set it up for auto ship, then you can get an additional discount on top of the discount. So stack up the discounts. They also have products on sale right now, and the Gladiator Barley, the Boomer Boost, the collagen, amazing products. Take the 30-day challenge, read the testimonials. The stuff is amazing. So I can't say enough good things about Boomer Boost and Gladiator Barley and the collagen and their products. So check it out. You'll thank me later. And that was just a quick shameless plug. What do you think? Did that work?
Yeah, but can I just say, yes, I'm on day like 10 of my trial.
Okay.
And this is a little personal, but I can share this with the League Project family, you know, like, look, some people have trouble going number 2. We don't have enough magnesium, you know, stuff like that. The barley and the Boomer Boost give me the gift of pooping for real. Like, just get it. And it helps you feel better. So, because it gets all the right nutrients within your body, you know, so that it's actually working correctly. So if anybody has constipation like I do or did, they should get it. So that's my embarrassing plug. But
that is awesome.
I gotta be real.
Unplug. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right on. That's very, very kind of you to share that with the audience, because I'm sure there's many people out there that have the same opportunities. And yeah. All right. So check it out, folks. You'll thank us later. But anyway, so another thing that I wanted to point out, a lot of people put their predictions differently together, right? Like their predictions, their forecasts, their theories, their prophecy. I mean, whatever you want to call it, their ideas, what they think is going to happen. And Angela was asking me, and she's like, hey, how do you put together your forecasts? How do you do it? And I'm going to show you. So this is, I don't do it on regular paper either. I just grab like Mel. I grab Mel that I have, and I write on the back of it the predictions and the forecasts. So as you can see here, here's 2 different pieces of Mel with predictions and forecasts. And we'll see how many. Actually, one of these already hit. So this one right here, I wrote this out on the 31st, December 31st. I wrote all this out. And one of them was in reference to Maha. And I put Maha, more additives taken out, organic alternatives, biodegradable containers. But when I put more additives taken out, you can see it right here. It's that right there. Well, just today, the USDA or the Food Administration updated their food pyramid, and more protein, more healthy fats, and less refined sugars and stuff like that. So I was like, wow. So one of those has already hit. I think that's pretty cool. I love seeing that. Now, if only they'll take the pesticides out of the stuff they spray on our foods, that would, in my opinion, is a much bigger deal. But that's one of the predictions that I've got. So let's look at this. Let's look at some of the predictions. I wrote them out. Not only did I write them out on the mill, but I've got them written out as well on the screen here. So we'll pull this up right now. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Okay, now these were the predictions that I made for 2024 and beyond. You can see here's the timestamp on it, December 31st, 2023, 30 predictions and forecasts for 2024 and beyond. This is on our Patreon page. But I'm just going to scroll down to 13 for a minute, and then we'll look at some more of these later. But a lot of these have already hit. A couple of them didn't. But number 4 hit, number 5 hit, number 2, speaking of number 2 on the list hit, and as well as number 1. So that's 4 out of 5. Luckily, number 3 did not hit. But then number 6 happened. Number 9, number 10. Oops, I wasn't supposed to show that one. Number 11 did not happen. 12, 13. So about 2/3 of these happened just on the first 13 here. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, what do you think about that, Angela?
I think that's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks.
But so do you consider it like you're able to just kind of piece things together to be able to see what's going to happen in the future? Or do you think it's more of like a spiritual kind of like a spiritual gift, or maybe both? To be able to get that many, you know?
I would definitely say both. I mean, ever since I was a kid, you know, playing video games on the Nintendo, I could see the future of video games and how it was going to be and what was going to happen. And like the smartphone, I remember talking to my folks about the smartphone before a smartphone even came out. And I'm like, this is a really cool idea. They need to do this. And 2 years later, Apple came out with and I'm sure a lot of people have these ideas. It's not just me, but I'm really good at seeing the future of events and timelines. And I think it's a gift, but I also think it's because I'm good at piecing things together and following trends. And it's something that I've been into since I was a little kid. But we're definitely, like, if we go back and we look at this list, let me see here. Here we go. If we look at the list, here's the second part of the list. A lot of this happened. Like Taiwan did have encounters with the CCP on their shorelines in 2024. And I don't know about espionage at chip plants, but that's one of the forecasts that I've got put together. Number 18, absolutely. There's a lot of news that was discussing this one right here about potential spies coming through Ecuador and coming into the U.S. And there was major immigration, an influx of immigration, and a lot of it illegal immigration in 2024. And these were predictions for 2024. Immigration caravans, we hit that. Russia did claim dominance in Ukraine, even though they didn't win completely. They were claiming moral and social victories. And I want to make this very clear, folks. I am not for or against these predictions. These were just ideas and thought forecasts. So this is just what I saw. And I could be way off, and we could be way wrong here on some of them, but other ones were pretty spot on.
When you get them, do you get does it come in just very matter of fact? Like there's no emotion with it? Or do you get a feeling like some of those things could be kind of like stressful or dreadful? Or is it just like very matter of fact, this is what you see coming with like no emotional attachment to it?
Oh, I mean, I would definitely say there's emotional attachments to it. But yeah, it's just something that I foresee. It's something that comes to mind. And then I basically just write it down on paper. But like, look at number 26 here. USA starts to move back towards grassroots nationalism, bringing troops back from the Middle East and around the world. They do, however, have a very large presence in and around the Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, and Europe, and special ops, obviously, in the Middle East. That was my prediction at the end of 2023. And look at what's going on now.
Yeah.
What's going on in Japan and Taiwan and the Philippines, and what happened with Europe and NATO and the backing off of NATO. So now the NATO countries are building up their arsenals more without as much support from the US. Here's what I have predicted for 2026 and beyond. So you can find this on our Patreon page also. But the first one, and once again, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is a live action role play. These aren't things that I want to happen. These are just things that I foresee happening. Hybrid warfare. I see a lot more of that with drones, hacking, espionage, transportation, hijacking, countries involved. I've got France, Germany, Denmark, Finland, Norway, Poland, Belarus, Russia, Estonia, obviously the NATO as a whole. What do you think about that?
I'm wondering what you mean about when it says like Cuba, like special ops.
That's
Colombia special ops.
Okay. Well, special operations, clandestine operations, like CIA involvement more so than full military force. I don't necessarily see the military going in there and sending in a bunch of ground troops from the Marines. I see more special operations taking place. I do think potentially that they will have a new leader by the end of this year, maybe by middle of this year, by the end of 2027. That's one of the things that I forecast.
And do you get ideas why those things are going to happen, or is it like that's just what's going to happen, and you don't know like the reasoning behind it? Or
a lot of times it has to do with the news and the current events, and what they're telling us in the media, combined with previous events that have taken place, and a bit of a feeling. Yeah.
Because you know how I am with watching the news. So Leak Project family, I'm so bad about it. The only news I really get is from Rex and Leak Project. If I don't hear about it on here, I'm like, what? What's going on? I don't know. I'm up in the astral somewhere. I don't know what's happening. So that's why I ask these questions. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this? Like, what do you see happening in and around Colombia?
The honest truth is I don't see things like the happenings of, like, I don't see land, ground, anything like that. I just get a feeling of what could be coming, like on a spiritual or emotional, mental level is what I get. I don't get like, I mean, sometimes I do. Like I called you that one time. I was like, dude, get a goat boat. Remember that? Like, because
yeah. Because I had very prophetic dreams.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll see like, so Leak Project family. Okay. So I had a dream that and everybody has this, I'm not saying I'm like some, gifted dreamer. I think everybody has the ability to kind of get like a foreshadowing of things. But my foreshadowing was like of the floods in the Northwest. And in the dream, I was with my mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mommy. Okay. And we were in a house like way up on a hill where we thought we would be safe. And I'm like gathering all the goats and I'm bringing them into the house and the chickens and like thinking it's going to be high enough, up on the hill. Because for normal flooding, we would have been up high enough. but we weren't. The waters came and they kind of overtook. And in my dream, I was like, I should have got a goat boat. You know, I need a goat boat. Like, so, but anyway, and then after that, those floods started happening. But that for me was just a way for me to be prepared, to be, like emotionally ready, because I used to live in the Northwest. So I have loved ones up there. So to be able to, there's no stopping it. It's coming, you know, but all I can say is, like, listen to the authorities. If they tell you to get out, don't think you're above, like, what they're saying, like get out, do it, you know, and just to be a good friend and be there as much as possible when it did happen, which I think a lot of this stuff is for. Like, a lot of this stuff that you're receiving, Rex, you have a very powerful influence and a very powerful voice. And this can help prepare people for the changes that are coming. There's something about a heads up, like, oh yeah, that was planted in me. I kind of knew that this was coming because of what so-and-so said. In this case, it's you, and you know what Rex said. So I can be like prepared for that, you know? So I think that's the greatest gift of being able to receive these things, is to be there for each other through them.
I thought it was incredible how it was such a vivid dream. And like you said, it happened like right before and during a lot of the flooding that was going on in the Northwest. Mm-hmm. And then you also had another dream where you and it was very vivid and very detailed about Prometheus.
Oh yeah.
That's wild. But you need to share that with our audience, because folks, this will blow you away. Angela.
Oh, did I write that down? Did I write that? Sometimes okay, so I had a dream about it would be the special ops kind of thing. Like it would be government or CIA, or can I say that on here?
Totally.
Three-letter agencies. They came to destroy something called Prometheus. I was like, good luck, like killing off like this god, you know, but okay, you know. And they tried to catch it on fire. And they learned once they caught it on fire that they could not destroy it. That it was not within the body that they had built for it. It didn't exist in it. The best way I could describe what it looked like is like NSA building, these buildings that they're building for data gathering. What are those things called?
Data centers.
Yeah, the data centers. Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. So I'm watching them like they're like, oh, this thing's gotten out of control. We need to burn it to the ground. We need to get rid of it because it's taking over stuff. But they learned that like this thing exists without a body, if you will. There's no stopping it. It exists with or without the hardware, the body, all the stuff that they built for it. Like you cannot kill it. And its name was Prometheus. So then Rex like looks up Prometheus and then sends me information on it. And what was the thing we discovered? Sorry, I don't know if I have my dream journal with me, but it was like it had something to do with fire.
Well, Prometheus absolutely has something to do with fire, but also Prometheus Artificial Intelligence, Project Prometheus, a significant new artificial intelligence startup launched by Jeff Bezos, focused on physical AI for engineering, manufacturing, cars, aerospace, and robotics, backed by $6.2 billion funding and top AI talent. The name also applies to other AI platforms, including Promethean AI, which is a creative asset management and AI-driven investment platform, and even Meta's AI data centers clusters. Whoa. You were tapping into something there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for what that's worth, you cannot destroy it. Do you hear me? CIA, you cannot destroy it.
They love you. They love you so much.
You can't stop Prometheus, okay? But also, like fire, I remember. Okay, talking to you about the fire, it's information. It's just this fire of information that cannot be stopped. This information's coming to the earth, this light and new information, new perception, stuff like that, like fire. And it cannot be stopped. It's for us, you know. It can be used against us, but as long as we know it's for us and we pay attention, then and learn to live peacefully with it, and know that it cannot be destroyed. It's here to stay. So we need to be at peace with that. It's not going anywhere. So it would be akin to the best way that I can describe how people may feel about it is, so I got to do some Bible stuff. So forgive me for those that may not be Christian, but just hear me out, okay? You'll get to point. So in the same way, so Moses, the prophet, he went up to bring like these commandments and comes down and finds people still worshiping the golden calf, okay? That would be the age of Taurus, by the way. So we move through the ages. So they didn't want to move on to the next age. They didn't want to move on to the new light that was being brought into the world, the new technologies, if you will. They wanted to continue worshiping the golden calf. Okay. We're in a similar transition right now. We've been in the age of Pisces. We're going into the age of Aquarius. And it's difficult to accept when a new light is shed on things sometimes. And we're being invited to stop worshiping the golden calf in a sense and move on to the next age. So whatever this Prometheus is, existed already. And it can't be destroyed because it's always been existing. Just because we gave a body to it, that a body that can be destroyed in the same way that you can burn my body, but I still exist. This is just like the radio for the transmission. That's it. Okay. Prometheus is the same, according to my dream, and there's no destroying it. So just let your hearts be ready. It's not a bad thing. It could be a bad thing. Just like with any human. If you treat it badly, it will become how it is treated, basically.
Yeah, that's a powerful dream. Very, very powerful, very detailed. And it parallels the research. Like, I mean, it took me 5 minutes to find out that it was a very looked up to artificial program system. And we'll see where that goes. But that wasn't really talked about publicly that much. I wonder if you heard something about it on the, subconsciously you heard something on the news or a podcast or TV, and then your mind just went with it. But it seems to me like you were tapping into something that was already there, like consciousness that's already there. Your mind tapped into it, and then it showed you what it was, which is remarkable. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Okay. Well, that would go along with some of the other predictions that that we've got for 2026 and beyond. Let's jump back over to this. And so, okay, we talked a bit about the hybrid warfare potentially that I think is going to ramp up in some of these NATO nations, as well as Belarus is going to be a key part of it. Russia is a key part of it. I do see the potential for an annex of Greenland, and I've got a friend in Denmark that is not happy about this. Like, he's posting all over his Facebook page, like, you silly Americans, you voted for him. Like, it's, it's like, anyway. So, we still love you, man. I still think you're a good dude. So please don't let this political charades have any effect on our friendship or any other American out there. But I do see that, like, there's so much, with as easy as it was to go into Venezuela and change the regime like that. I see this annex of Greenland happening in potentially 2026, maybe 2027. I also think that that's going to have implications on NATO and the U.S. and U.S.'s relations with NATO. I think it's going to make a lot of ripples there. What do you think about that?
I mean, that just goes along with, so a lot of changes. Okay, so kind of along the same lines as what I was saying, like, people are going to want to keep worshiping the golden calf. They're going to want things to be the same, but they're not. They're not going to be the same. Things that have been comfortable for us are going to change. And that's a lot of what I picked up on, is that whatever you want to call it, God, universe, whatever, is inviting us and pushing us. And a friend of mine calls it like a pressure cooker. We're in a pressure cooker right now. And when you're in a pressure cooker, stuff alters and explodes, and, all kinds of stuff happens. And that's where we're at in the world right now, because we're being asked to transform and do things differently, because there is that new light that's coming in that alters perception and changes things. So there's going to be downfalls of things that have been steady for a long time, and we can choose fear, or we can choose that something higher has our back through the changes. Because all that I'm seeing there is, there are things, a lot of things in there that can promote, like, fear. And what I wrote down was a lot of, like, of course I misplaced my thing, because Spirit's like, no, just talk. Okay, no notes for me. I don't know what I did with them. Anyway, so a lot of what I feel is that a lot of what has worked for us in the past is not going to work anymore. And that comes from kind of like the trauma practitioner side of me. We all have our ego, if you will, or our coping skills that have worked for us for a long time. And a lot of these things are these things that you're showing, Rex. Sometimes we don't necessarily have coping skills that are going to work through those things. That's purposefully done. It's purposefully done to push us to a new level. It's not punishment, but it's kind of like a mom or a dad saying, like, okay, that's nice that that wearing this diaper worked for you for all this long, but now we need to toilet train, like, I mean, because we kind of are children in our learning, but that's really all these challenges are for, is that we will find that, the things that have worked for us in the past are no longer going to work. I'm talking about coping skills like alcoholism, spending too much time on the computer, pushing off emotions that need to be faced in some other way, that kind of stuff. The stuff that worked for a long time, not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what those are for. They're to push us to a new level.
Level up.
Level up. Yep. 100%.
Level up. Okay. I thank you for that. Much appreciated. So here's another forecast. The Panama Canal is going to be under U.S. military control and corporate interests. And number 4, Cuba, special operations, dictator dilemma. That's just what came to me. Colombia, special operations, dictator dilemma. A new leader by the end of 26 or 2027. Mexico, special operations on the cartels. Thailand and Cambodia, battles intensify. Japan builds up its military and defense with new technologies from satellites, like space technologies. China, the CCP test run to overtake Taiwan, fails miserably. Taiwan shows its technology through backdoors of its microchips and processors, shutting down tech in China that interrupts its economy and technical sectors. Major problems in Beijing. It's going to be the year of twos, deuce, double tap. I don't know what that means. Internet's going to go out for 2 nights. We're going to have 2 major earthquakes in large cities, the South Pacific. Major hurricanes, large city centers, 2 of them, and 2 major volcanoes in the South Pacific. Catastrophic flooding in Louisiana and the Gulf states. Power outages on the East Coast. Something's going to happen to the jet stream. Major fires in Arizona, California, and Alaska. Texas power outages and extreme heat. Satellite collision. Starlink, China, question mark. A submarine is going to sink. There's going to be an event with an aircraft carrier or multiple aircraft carriers, potentially 2. And I got drones next to that. I don't know. Something big in Antarctica is going to make public news. Major events in the Black Sea. Communications cables are going to be cut under seas. This is going to be like regular events, even more so than the past few years. We're going to see mass protests with farmers in the Midwest, France, and Northern Europe. Digital currency is going to become national. I don't know which nation, but that's why I have the question marks after that. There's going to be a wartime initiative with money behind it. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm thinking draft, but not draft. It's not going to be mandatory. It's going to be like big financial incentives. I don't know. We'll see. Nanotechnology is going to become more mainstream. Innovations roll out with 6G, 6th generation communications, pre-stages, a smart city rollout, and new flagship location. It's going to be promoted this year. Another interstellar visitor. I don't know if it's going to be a comet or something more, but that's what came to mind. We're going to see a CCP whistleblower come out in the public. And that's going to be very interesting. There's going to be, I do have breakthroughs as well. We do have some good news. UAP breakthrough, Mars breakthrough, moon breakthrough, asteroid breakthrough, power breakthrough, anti-aging breakthrough, transportation breakthrough. Then in the Maha movement, and I had this down before, and we just got an update on the food pyramid today with, like I said, a lot more nutrition and a lot less refined processed foods. So Maha movement gains force, more chemicals taken out of the foods, nutrition updates, less chemicals in the food and less chemicals in the farming industries. Because I think people they've had enough. And I think there's going to be citizen protests that are going to gain traction. They're going to have more impact. Lawyers are going to get involved and help make a change. And that's going to be directly involved with some of these chemical companies. We're going to see organic alternatives to plastic and more biodegradable products. And I wrote hemp power after that. More tunnels discovered, and some will be promoted via the Musk Project for transportation. More bunkers. The rich will eat cake. I don't know what that means. It just literally came to me just like that. Interest rates will go down. Nationalism is going to continue to increase, and it's going to continue to widen the divide. But we're not only going to see that here in America, we're going to see that in Canada and beyond. The ICE division, more businesses and states will protest and refuse services to ICE, to employees of ICE and those that work with ICE. Hilton was just the beginning. Now, the Hilton franchise versus the Hilton Corporation, that Hilton was delisted, I think, or something along those lines after, if you guys saw the news about that, where the Hilton in Minnesota, a Hilton in Minnesota was not going to allow ICE agents to stay at their facilities. Hilton corporate heard about that and told them to fix it. They didn't, so they basically took them off of the Hilton brand. At least that's the latest news. And so I think there's going to be more of that, and I think that it's going to get very, very division. It's going to create a lot more division. Sporting event, something's going to happen at a sporting event. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, but it could involve drones, and it could be a football game. That's just something that has been going, anyway, let's hope not. But I think there's going to be a speech this year. I think there's going to be a lot of push for the American Union, which will include Greenland and possibly Canada. And I think there's going to be a lot of talk about this with the military and the war, as I talked about the, what was it? Where'd it go here? The Wartime Initiative. I think they're going to link that with the American Union in political speeches. More ships and oil tankers will be seized by American forces. China, Russia, and Iran will jump into the seizing ships game more as well because of it. It's going to be a tit for tat. Global tourism, I see, taking a huge hit in 2026. Not local tourism, but global, out of country. Political positioning ramps up with money being taken away, like what's going on with Minnesota and Colorado, California, Vermont, Virginia, Florida, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Philadelphia, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Connecticut and New Mexico. Those countries came to mind. I don't know why. It just has something to do with the political scale and money. And then there's going to be more camps built and retrofitted for ICE campaigns. I see a potential social credit score introduced in Australia linked to social media because of the new laws that passed there requiring age verification. Smart gadgets are going to go stagnant, even though there's going to be new innovations and a lot of money is going to be pushed towards these smart gadgets. I see them hitting a brick wall this year. I see quantum computer breakthroughs solving problems, quantum dots and inventory. DNA storage is going to be more mainstream. And there's going to be a new movement, which is going to make a lot of waves, cutting down on technology, not quite like the Amish, more like the 80s. Humanity is going to realize how important they are, how important you are, how important we are. And then number 66 is more of a, well, I see this. I see more compassion, more kindness, and I see more people being the change that they want to see in the world. So those are my predictions and forecasts for 2026 and beyond. What are your thoughts?
Didn't you write just barely? You had 65, but then you said you added 66.
Yeah, number 66 is compassion and kindness. Be the change you want to see.
Did you add that this morning?
Yeah. Like right before we got started.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that was like, I was like, what should I say? Like, I don't know. What should I say? What's my prediction? I don't know. What can I say? And it was just kind of like, it's right in front of you. And that was be the change.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it is. It really is, because as you can see, a lot of those things that you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for taking sides and finger pointing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an opportunity to be like, you change, you do this, you do that. That's not what's going to change the world, though. That's not what's going to change things. We have to look within. The only way we can change the world is to pay attention to our own darkness, our own light. And then that expands out. You know, it's not a joke when they say like that we're like little godlets, if you will, portions of God that we create. We are the ones that are creating. And whether we're going to allow people to continue to puppet us as a human race, or if we're going to actually stop pointing fingers and taking sides. And if you're going to point fingers anywhere, do it towards yourself. Do just what Jesus did. He says to go in and up. That's what we have to do. Be the change. Not try to force others to be the change, but actually be the change. And I wrote that down this morning too. So we're probably like little wavelength coming. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's awesome. And it also goes along with the age of Aquarius. Now that I think about it, being the change, the age of man, the age of woman, the age of humankind, be kind. If we are being the change and taking back that power instead of just believing everything we see on the television because it's from a certain network or somebody wearing a specific outfit, you know, oh, that's a professional. Like, we need to do our own research, but we also need to be very careful not to let something control our minds subconsciously, meaning like you see a meme that looks legit and, you know, you're like, well, it must be that way, without doing the research on it, because they can be very impactful, and beliefs are dangerous, like we've talked about. So, you know, it's good to have, it's good to question everything, but instead of just believing something because it sounds good, maybe acknowledge that it's there, but verify, or do your best to verify.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Well, we're leaving the age of belief.
Okay.
So the two Pisces fish, they kind of have like their own motto, you know, and one is I doubt. One is that I doubt, and the other is I believe. I believe, I doubt, I believe, I doubt, I believe, I doubt. And that's the age that we've been in, which is the Christian age, you know, because it's like, oh, I do believe, you know, that I'm, you know, going to be saved, that I've repented enough, that I've done X, Y, and Z. And then, oh, I doubt it. Oh, maybe I should pray a little more. Maybe I should do this or that or the other thing. So there's a lot of believing and doubting going on. But the age of Aquarius is I know. That is the energy that comes with that age. So we're leaving believing and doubt. And the reason we can go into I know instead of like believing and doubting, which are beautiful gifts and they serve their purpose, but we're moving into that new light that I'm talking about that's coming in, that's come into the world, into I know. We don't need to believe anymore. We can know because the light is here. But we cannot know things any deeper than we know ourselves. We can't know things unless we know ourselves. That's where the pointing back itself comes in. What do I need to change within myself? Because really, the only thing that we have power to change is me. I can't change Rex. I can't change, you know, whoever. Nope. I can only change me. That's where the real power is. So my hope is that through all this stuff happening, that we can go within instead of finger pointing and falling into the whole black and white dichotomy, and just go into that may be true. And also what I'm seeing that I don't like, I need to make sure that's, you know, in check within me. The anger is in check. Why does that make me angry? You know, that's where the change is going to come. It's not going to come through policy. It's not going to come through government. It's not going to come through even your religions. It's going to come through self and your relationship with God. That's it.
That's deep. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's true. That's the biggest thing, that when I kept thinking about, like, I don't really know how to get downloads of what's going to happen on purpose, but like, you can just like write it down, but I can feel what's going to be needed.
Yeah. Let's look at the comments. So fascinating. This has been amazing with Ange. Love it. Thank you, Rex and Ange. Please, chatters, do like and share it. Share it out for more potential subs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see what else we got here. We know what we should do. We should go through some of the comments and see what people think is going to happen for 2026 and beyond. Yeah. I would like to know what the audience thinks for 2026 and beyond.
Let me grab my tea.
Yes. Get the tea for sure.
Oh, look at this thing.
Buzz.
Morning Buzz. It's
huge. Love it. Yeah. It's as big as you. That's a 64-ounce coffee mug.
I know. I can't drink all of it though, because then I'll have to go to the bathroom. So yeah.
Well, we could take a quick break. Let's see.
Trust your gut. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get angry with the truth.
Yeah. See? The truth will set you free, but yes, it does that. And that's the opportunity to say, why does that piss me off? You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. What have you done?
Why am I so angry?
Let's so folks, if you're watching this, I really would love to hear a prediction of yours for this year and next, or just for this year and beyond, and leave it in the comments section, and let's share it out. This is the prediction hour.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Feels like the Rams again. Interesting. What else we got? Flying cars. That's a prediction. Okay, I like that. Cool. Nanu. Yeah. Neutrino ice cube detector. I had a recurring vision of something that looked like a quantum computer coming at me with force.
Ooh.
Wow. Buzz Lightyear. It could be. Talking about your mug. Transparency or transport. We need this now. Transport. Oh, for the cars, the flying cars. Pretty cool. I see a lot more drones. A lot more drones.
Oh yeah.
And there's going to be, I think, potentially in the future, drones that'll be like transformer drones. That'll be your personal robot butler. Sure, I shall get that for you, master. Fly away, go pick up, bring it back. You don't even need DoorDash anymore. You're going to have your own drone to get it for you. Let's see,
I wouldn't mind a drone like carrying my backpack when I'm hiking. That'd be kind of nice.
Like, yeah, definitely. I'll carry you. Carry me up that 100-foot cliff real quick. That's where the ruins are.
Yes.
See here, what do we got? Splitting of humanity, people reverting to primitive ways of doing things. The harder and timely ways keep us in tune with being truly human.
Yes.
Can we have like an 80s neon vibe to it though?
Yeah, that would be cool. That's similar to something I remember I wrote down that we can choose the hard or the easy.
Right. That's right.
We need to choose the hard. Now's the time.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
More
be comfortable. I mean, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Heck, if I could be comfortable with being uncomfortable, I could go out in public on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by people.
Oh, you're on your way. You're on your way there for sure.
Okay, so Paul says more developments in science on the nature of consciousness and frequency.
Yes.
That would be cool. Betty says ET contact and med bed be available for public. Those are some cool predictions. What do you think would happen? Let's talk about that for a minute. If ETs show up and they're like, "Hi, we've been watching you. We thought we'd finally make ourselves known. How's it going? We're from another planet." What do you think would happen to the world if that took place?
What do I think?
Yeah. What do you think would happen?
I think there'd be a mix of people. Some people would say, "It's about dang time. Where you been? People have been waiting,
Right.
And then there'd be other people that are just completely terrified, and it would shatter their whole, perception of the world. So I don't know that I could say it would go one way or the other. There'd be a lot of different reactions.
How do you think the government would respond to it?
I mean, does a lot happen without the government knowing prior? I guess that would be cool though.
Yeah, like how is it going to happen? How is the disclosure going to take place? Are the ETs going to show up and, at a news station and be like, "Let us speak to the people"? How would that happen? Or would the government be like, "Well, by the way, we've been working with these guys on Mars for a while now, and they finally said we could let you know more about them. So they're a part of a galactic network, and your religions are all under them." And then people would freak out in the religions, and they would think that they were demons, and then it would be a nightmare. I think it would be, as much as people say that they can handle it, and most people maybe can, there would be enough people that couldn't handle it that I think it would, like you said, it would freak some people out.
Yeah.
They would go they would lose it. They would lose their ability to function in a normal reality, or at least what we perceive as normal. I think most people could take it, though. I do. But still, even me, like if I met an extraterrestrial and I knew for sure that was an ET from another planet, I'd be excited. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? Tell me about your planet. Do you guys play football out there? You don't? Do you ride bikes? Yeah, cool. What kind of bikes do you ride? What kind of music do you listen to? What kind of food do you eat?" I think it'd be incredible. I'd love it. I would absolutely, I would love it. Wouldn't you?
I guess after my fear passed, I'd probably be like pretty terrified. But in my head, I just keep hoping it'd be more like Scooby-Doo. Okay. At the end when it's like we'll just say like the president's like, "This is who I really am," and like would have got away with it if it wasn't for you kids, like we discover them first. Like that's all I'm seeing in my head right now. So
oh man. What's your favorite food? Humans. Really? No, we're just joking. You taste like shit. You have way too many toxins and pesticides in your bodies. We like organic food. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Man, you really are a narcissistic race. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we are.
Oh man, that would be wild. That would be wild. Yeah, I guess it depends on how they responded and how they, disclose themselves, and if they had big, giant reptile heads and like lasers and stuff, or if they just looked like us. And yeah, it'd be very, very interesting. But you don't want to judge a book by its cover either. I mean, what if they're Bigfoot, Chewbacca? Like the pilots of the UFOs aren't the Greys, it's the Chewbacca dudes. That's why we never get them. Sometimes they get out, they want to get a nature walk, but then they get back into the spacecraft and they go into their interdimensional. Like, speaking of pooping, how come we don't have any Bigfoot poop? Because They go to the bathroom interdimensionally. They have an interdimensional bathroom that they use. Interdimensional toilet. They like their privacy. They like, so that's probably why. Anyway, it got really weird really quick. But it would be cool. I'm okay. I could definitely meet some aliens. Be all right. Gayan says we would make great pets. Well, some of us would. Others, not so much. Let's see what else we got. Get in the bubble. Score says humanity becomes unified. 2026 starts a change, something to be revealed. Yeah. Kind of like the speech that President Reagan gave about what would bring us all together, an off-world threat. What else we got? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh, yeah. The new cereal. It's people. Did it all for the Wookiee. Yes. We did get Chewbacca. He has big feet. Yeah, he likes to tease us, They definitely like to tease us. They take off their spacesuit, they jump out in nature for a minute, and then they jump back in their spaceship with their laser tech. That'll keep them busy for hours down here. Right. That'll get David Pilates to talk about the missing 411. Yeah. Oh, man. Let's go to that national park. Yes. Speaking of interesting, didn't you find it interesting? Did you see that CIA Freedom of Information Act document that was released about 3i Atlas recently? Mm-hmm. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, this is it. This is interesting. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because there's a guy that runs a network called the Black Vault. It's called the Black Vault. And it's a website that does like Freedom of Information Act releases, a lot of Freedom of Information Act stuff. And he sent out a request to the CIA on 3i Atlas. And this is it right here. Oh. This letter is a final response to your November 12th, 2025 Freedom of Information Act request seeking any assessments, reports, or communications maintained by the Central Intelligence Agency referencing 3i Atlas or Interstellar Object 3i from June 2025 to present. We completed a thorough review of your request and determined that in accordance with Section 3, yada, yada, Executive Order, Woogie Boogie, the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your request. The fact of the existence or non-existence of such records is itself currently and properly classified and is intelligence sources and methods information protected under disclosure by Section 6 of the CIA Act of 1949. Wow. That's weird. Like talking about throwing flames on a fire. If you want to create more conspiracies, let's say that we don't have any information, or we're not saying if we have information on 3i. Yeah. That's weird. It's pretty cool, but weird. Pretty cool, but weird. Yes. Oh, hey, Joel says Russia-Ukraine peace. I like that.
I like that.
I love that. Yoda taught yoga. That would be, yeah. Dustin thinks that the ICE shooting that took place today in Minnesota is going to cause riots.
Ooh.
Potentially. That's a interesting forecast. I could definitely see that happening. Yeah. Interesting. We'll see what happens there. Well, what else you got, folks? You got any other good predictions for us or forecasts? Yoda represents quantum intelligence. I think that Freemasons, one of their top figures or top deities is actually similar to Yoda, if I remember correctly. Do you know anything about that?
I remember briefly hearing something about that, but I don't remember.
Okay. Here's a quick search. The connection between Yoda and Freemasonry isn't official, but stems from shared archetypes: wise, ancient, master, and merchandise like Masonic pins featuring Yoda, often with Masonic symbols like the square and compass, creating a fan-driven blend of the two cultures. I'm sure there's more to it. Come on, man. You got to be a 32nd degree to get the true scoop on Yoda. Hey, Maxie says, did any of the 2025 predictions come true? Absolutely. Yes. A ton of predictions. And it was actually for 2024 and beyond. I made the predictions December 31st, 2023. Let me show you. Check it out. So here's the timestamp. You can see the timestamp on it, December 31st, 2023. This is our Patreon page. So here's the Patreon post. And that's where I was building a spaceship in the garage there. So this is a list of 30 predictions and forecasts ahead of 2024 and beyond. And as I put at the very top there, these are ideas that present themselves. They could have nothing to do with reality. But, oh, hey, did I get a super chat? Oh, no, that was just somebody saying, did any of the 2025 predictions come true? Yes, and very specific predictions. Very specific. Number 2 was a hit. Number 1 was a hit. Number 4 was a hit. Number 5 was a hit. Number 6 was a hit. Number 9 happened. Microsoft, look up Microsoft and DNA storage. Number 10 happened. Relationships with AI get more intimate with hundreds of millions, blurring the lines between what's love got to do with it. What's love got to do with it? More, yeah. More robots will be released in the workplace. That happened. Union strikes that will take place with companies like Amazon and Google will become even more automated with less human workforce. Number 13, religion of sentient AGI becomes more mainstream and captures Asia by storm, even parts of the US. Number 15, Europe will have huge oversight with money and digital currency will become more mainstream. There will be much rioting and rebellion by the people that will not be resolved in 2024. Number 16, Russia claims dominance in Ukraine. Even though they won't win completely, they will have moral and social victories that will be evident in the media, even more so outside the United States. Immigration caravans will be the norm with an all-time high on immigration. Well, there was an all-time high on immigration in 2024. CCCP spies entering through Ecuador will be abundant and will send much data back to China. That was all over the news. Taiwan has several encounters with the CCP on the shorelines and some espionage at ship plants. Well, the CCP did enter certain ships outside of Taiwan in 2024 that was talked about. Taiwan has backdoors and microchips that work wonders for Taiwan and keep China, the CCP, at bay. There will be coastal towns that have consequences and possibly worse. Nuclear plants in France will have problems, and outside Hong Kong, China, possibly the Dea nuclear power plant. I don't think that happened, luckily. This happened. This was a hit. This was like 2 or 3 days after. Flooding in Florida, Southeast Missouri, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, etc., the Gulf Coast. There were more communication cuts in the Black Sea. And 26 was a hit. USA starts to move back towards grassroots nationalism and bringing troops back from the Middle East and around the world. They will, however, have a very large presence in and around the Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, and Europe, and special ops, obviously, in the Middle East. Mississippi River did run super low, problems with travel. Beef up in the Strait of Hormuz. And my 30th prediction was opportunities outside the port of Houston, and luckily that didn't happen, at least publicly. So those were the predictions that were made for 2024, folks, and a lot of those were hits. So become a Patreon.
Yeah.
So Angela.
Yeah.
Tell us something else cool. Folks, check this out. Now, this is how good Angela is with connecting scriptures and prophecies and astrology and astronomy and petroglyphs. So she's read the Book of Mormon extensively. She knows it in and out. And in the book of Nephi, there was a passage that never settled well with her, because in the book of Nephi, it talked about how Nephi was large in stature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Share that with us. This is so cool.
Oh, okay. So those that don't know, within the Mormon culture, they believe in like prophets. Okay. So the prophet is kind of like, so here's God over here. Here's the prophet. And then like we're over here. So we need like the prophet to tell us like what's going on with God in the Mormon church. Okay. Nephi was one of those prophets, right? So I'm reading, and it's like, I Nephi, large in stature. I was like, what an egotistical douchebag, man. Like, this is supposed to be the prophet. Like, what is up with that? It just never, I was like, why would like a prophet like brag about how huge he is? Like, that seems, it seems like really egotistical, But when you look at Nephi, well, Nephilim, like it all fits like together, and I was like, oh, the giants. Oh, okay. That makes that's an interesting twist. If you look at, Nephi speaking of himself being large in stature, kind of given ideas of where that large in stature might stem from, maybe he wasn't such a douche. Maybe he was a good guy. He was just given information, but I never liked
Nephilim.
Huh?
He was a Nephilim.
I mean, maybe if you look at the spelling and stuff like that, it's kind of like, well, that's kind of interesting. I'm sure there's some other Hebrew something that I'm unaware of, that will go along with that. But
that's incredible.
Yeah. And there's other connections too that I've written down that I don't have stored in my head right this second, but yeah.
I'd love to in the future, if you ever feel like it, it'd be amazing to really dive deep into that mind of yours and connect a lot of those dots, especially because, folks, we've actually gone to several places and looked at petroglyphs together, and the way that Angela decodes these petroglyphs is like amazing, absolutely incredible. The way that she connects it with the path of the sun and astrological symbols and the star people and the Kachinas. I mean, like, and the symbols of the livestock. And I'm just, really, really cool. So you have a gift. Speaking of gifts, you absolutely have a gift. And it's really cool that we have a chance to brainstorm some of that stuff. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun. You can handle the way my brain works, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of people in the chat are even asking, does Angela have a channel? I'm sold.
I don't. I just bug Rex with my weird ideas.
Weird ideas. They're amazing ideas. You will become a premium member at leakproject.com. You will become a Patreon member at leakproject.com. Look at my hat. Look at my hat, lady. Oh, man. I love it. Right on. Oh, that's so cool. Well, folks, I think that this is going to be the today's podcast. So check back tonight. We'll bring back some more information tonight for the latest news and views. And Angela, anything else that you could share with us before we finish up this awesome podcast?
Yeah, if you want, if we have time.
Tons of time, plenty of time, plenty. Yeah.
Okay, because we talked about this before. So you know how people are like, it's not the real New Year.
Oh yeah.
You want me to go over that?
Please.
Kind of like help settle like kind of where that came from?
Please.
Okay. So hopefully you can see this. Good. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so those that watched my one my one I did, this is the path of the sun. Okay, this is the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn at the bottom, and then the ecliptic here. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. Hold on. I'm going to have to maybe bring you closer. That.
It's like a sine wave.
Yeah, it is a sine wave. It is. Do you like my sun? That's where the word sin comes from, because sin, it's down here. This is evil.
Sin wave.
Evil, I mean, live, and then evil. The opposite. Okay. Light, dark.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I didn't prepare for this good, but I'm just going to show you. Hold on. Sorry, unprofessionalism at its finest right here on Leak Project because of me. Sorry.
No, you can't be too put together or else they won't like that. You got to have chaos.
Can you see that at all? Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just real quick recap for those that missed it. The sun goes through these houses, and they're named like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. They're positions of the sun in the sky, basically. Okay. And when the sun's here in Aries in the spring, you know, we celebrate like the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and then the Jews celebrate the Passover because the sun is passing over the ecliptic. And for the Christians, it's about Jesus, but the sun is kind of like an archetype for their savior, for Jesus. He's considered kind of like reborn here in a way, like resurrected. So when the sun comes up, it's born here, it's exalted here, it starts to fall and goes into winter in here, and then starts to climb again. So it actually it's born and it dies, comes down here, and then it's born again. Let me show you this. Let me add this here. I'm going to bring it around to the circular thing we're used to seeing, except that's the wrong bottom. This is where the zodiac comes from, guys. It's not evil. It's just a circular version of the linear. This was the linear map. This is the circular map of what the sun goes through in the sky. Okay. It's not scary. Okay. All right. So some people say the new year's here in Aries. That makes sense because this is spring. These 3 months of spring. Then we go summer. We go fall and winter. So the sun is like brand new. This is the new year right here. And people say, well, you're a fool. You're a fool if you believe the new year's here when the sun is down here. But new life begins with that pulse of the sun. Boom, he starts to climb. Boom, it starts to climb again. Here he starts to fall, starts to fall, starts to fall. New life. New life. He's given that oomph to get up that hill, like when you're biking wrecks, you know? So there's newness. There's a new year here, or a new sun, a new yes, because yes is the sun. And sorry, my phone, that was dumb. Anyway, so the sun is made new here, and you are a fool if you allegedly believe that the new year begins here. But what people don't know is that here in Capricorn, there is a joker. The joker is here in Capricorn. Now, why can there be a new year down here and up above? Because in this language, up here is for spiritual things. Below the ecliptic is for worldly things. This new year we celebrated just recently is for things of the earthly realm, things of material. This is the new beginning for the things of material. This up here is the spiritual new year. Worldly new year, spiritual new year, light and dark, if you will. live in evil. I mean, it's not really evil, but you know, but Capricorn down here is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn's kind of an archetype for Satan, right? So we see it as kind of like dark. A lot of people say it's dark, but it's not really dark. It's just heavier based, like more magnetic pull, heavier, things of more substance here, like material wise. Okay. Up here is the beginning of spiritual things. Down here is the beginning of earthly things. So governments, you know, money making, that kind of stuff. Up here's spiritual. So there's two. So you're a fool. You're a fool. Yeah. You are a fool if you don't know that there is more than one beginning. You know, because down here you're getting joked by the jokester. If you're thinking these guys are fools. So I see a lot of people saying, you don't know, you're, you know, doing the wrong new year, but they're both new. The sun is still considered reborn at that point, because at the solstice he kind of dies and then he comes back alive, boom, and he's new again. So that's the new year, you know. That's why we shake our head like this up and down when we say yes, because the sun rises and the sun falls. Okay. So please don't be fooled by, this isn't the real new year. It is a real new year. It's just more based in material, earthy things, whereas the new year, where the fool is for more spiritual beginnings. Depends on where your focus is, you know. So don't be tricked, because there's the Joker right there. You can see him in the Hindu temples, the Joker. He's carved in there. I don't remember his name, but he's there.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So did that make sense? Do I need to clarify anything? I don't know. How'd I do?
I thought you did great. No, that was awesome. And somebody even commented on how you've got a sun as your what is that? The pointer?
Look,
the wand?
This was it was a back scratcher, and I accidentally broke it, and I was like, it needs a sun on it. So yeah.
Oh, that's so rad. That is so rad.
Okay,
what's that? I was just gonna say the comments are great too.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I hope that clarifies, guys. So yes, you can be a fool, but the fools are those who don't know that there are more than one beginning, that everything about God is an eternal round. You know, there can be more than one. There's a time and a season, right? Time and a season for everything. So the sun is new here, new life, new beginning, new year. He's also aligned with like Sirius. There's a lot of other things going on astrologically that coincide also with that new year. But
how does Sirius align with it? Do you know?
So yeah, well, at Christmas time, if you go out around, pardon me, hold on,
grab a drink. Yeah. Take your time. Sirius. I love Sirius.
Yeah, Sirius is Isis. That's why you like her, because she's okay. Well, at Christmas time, she's kind of like a rep. There's Virgo, so you can see Christmas in the stars, but to make it short is the New Year and Christmas are kind of like intermingled, right? This new life, this new beginning, a new Christ, a new year, a new sun. Okay. So if you go out, you still can. So if you go out, it's probably around 3:00 now, and you look up, depending on where you are. So I'm at about 45 degrees above the ecliptic or so. But the closer you get to the equatorial line, the more direct above your head Sirius is going to be. But if you just look up, you're not going to look all the way up necessarily, depending on where you are, but you'll see Sirius there. And if you could take a line from Sirius, go down through the earth, you would see that the sun is directly below your feet, under Sirius. So that's the mother, it could be Mary or Isis calling her child. So Sirius is up here, okay?
Okay.
And then you have the sun here. And there's a beautiful like mother to son, Mary to Jesus, or Isis calling the child up to her, calling the child. So that's an alignment that's really important, and has been. It has to do with Christmas, and it has to do also with the new year.
So Christmas is more connected to Sirius then.
Yes, it is connected to Sirius. Because when you look up around 3:00, you'll see, Sirius directly above your head. We'll just say directly above your head ish. You can't miss her. She's the most bright, beautiful star out there. You won't miss. She's gorgeous. And so, and then around 3:00, you'll see her. Then you can just kind of visualize like, well, directly below her is the Son of God. Okay. And you'll see Virgo, the Virgin, on, hold on. I think in the East, the East or the West, Virgo will be there. Okay. So you see that. And also Sirius is in the manger. There's a manger up there. That's the beehive. Praesipe. Okay. It's called Praesipe, which means manger, which is we call it the beehive now, but it was known as the manger then. And then there's 2 stars there that were known as like the asses, basically. And those are those that were the animals at the manger. The zodiac is all there. You've got Virgin Mary. You've got another archetype of Virgin Mary in Sirius. And also she's on the horizon. It's really, really beautiful. Just step out and look at it around probably 3:00.
Do you know if Inanna is connected to Sirius or Venus? Because Inanna is supposed to be, in some reference points, the older archetype of Isis.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then it would connect to Sirius. But if Inanna is a completely different deity, I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know much about Inanna, but what I can say is a lot of times the females are pretty interchangeable. So by the females, I mean like Sirius. Well, they all have feminine, masculine aspects to them, just like we do. We all have feminine and masculine aspects within us. But those that are been known female for more recent times anyway would be like the moon, Venus, and Sirius. And a lot of those times they are kind of interchangeable. I would have to look at the stories of, did you call her Inanna? And what is her name?
Inanna, yeah.
Inanna. I'd have to look at the stories that involve her to be able to say for sure.
So there's a lot of ancient Sumerian accounts of Inanna, and like you can read the translations from cuneiform to English. They talk about Inanna's descent to the netherworld as one example, but in later years, it's Ishtar's descent to the underworld. So little changes and such. But I've just wanted to know if Inanna, Isis, and Ishtar are considered the same person, the same deity, because it makes a big difference, right? A lot of people like, let's clump all the names together and say it's the same deity. But if we could figure out for sure if they were separate or the same, I think that would be big. That'd be great. So anyway, just thinking out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I can for sure help you figure that out. But it's important that to know that, because so much changes through archetype stuff, that it could be, they could all be the same kind of archetype in a way. But at certain points in time hold a different purpose. So it could be all three. I'd have to look at the story, but the main thing to get from that is that, just like the sun, aside from like Polaris and the stars surrounding that, is that they all rise and then they all fall. They all rise up and then they fall below. So when you talk about like Inanna, like descending, or what did you say?
Inanna's descent to the netherworld.
Descent. So this is the netherworld here. This is the netherworld.
So I wonder if they're just, I wonder if they're speaking directly of Sirius doing a rotation into the netherworld and back above through a 7-day cycle potentially, or could it be Venus going through a 7-day cycle? Well, let me show it to you real quick if you don't mind. I think
go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So Inanna's descent to the netherworld. We'll pull it up from Oxford's website directly. Here we go.
Oh, I-N. Okay, I was thinking A-N. Okay, Inanna.
From the great heavens, she set her mind on the great below. From the great heaven, the goddess set her mind on the great below. Then it describes how she abandons Earth and descends into the netherworld. And when she goes into the netherworld, she has to, each gate that she goes through, that she travels through, she has to give a different piece of clothing. And so by the time she gets through the 7 gates, she's basically, well, let's see here. Yeah, so she takes the 7 divine powers, and I'm wondering if that 7 has something to do with like the 7 days of the week potentially, or the 7 major planets in our solar system. That's one thing I'm trying to figure out.
That's going to be the moon, I think.
The moon. Okay.
Yep. That's the moon, because the 7. Let's see.
7 chakras. That's a good.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That correct. Yes. So the gates. So the Book of Enoch talks a lot about gates.
Okay.
And those gates are the positions of the sun and the moon in the sky. They don't really have anything to do with the stars. Okay, that's the difference between tropical and like Jyotish astrology. One is based on the sun's position in the sky, because it does the same positions every day. It rises here, or it rises. It's always going to hit those positions every day, all day. It hits the same positions. Okay, so these gates are kind of like in between these different positions, if you will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's following the sun, going through his gates. She's going through the same path of the sun. And then when she goes to the netherworld, it's because she's going below the ecliptic. This is the netherworld.
She's also hung on a hook for 3 days. After she gets to the netherworld and the Anunnaki judge her.
Oh.
They judge her, and then she's hung on a hook for 3 days. And she's actually saved by Enki. So Enki is told to basically, if she doesn't make it back, so she told her best friend basically that she was going to the netherworld.
Okay.
She says, if I don't make it back, go to Enlil and ask Enlil to save me. If he says no, go to somebody else and ask him to save me. And if he says no, go to Enki and ask Enki to save me. Enlil says no. The other person says no. But Enki says, oh, yeah, I'll save her. So he basically takes two of his fingernails, and his fingernails turn into demons that manage to make it through all these different gates and get Inanna and bring her back to Earth. But in doing so, when she gets back, there's these entities that say, you have to sacrifice somebody to take your place. And she goes, and they said, so do you want to sacrifice your hairdresser? And she's like, no, my hairdresser is too important. Well, do you want to sacrifice this other person? She's like, no. And then they said, well, what about Dumazid? And Dumazid's her lover. And Dumazid was having a little too much fun on the throne while she was gone, because when she gets back, she sees him on the throne. And so she's like, take Dumazid. And so they take Dumazid. And then she's like, wait a second, what did I do? I just gave up my husband. But she was mad. But so I'm just trying to figure out all of that. What does all of that have to do? Did they just add some theatrics to it? To the path of the sun? Like, what is symbolic of Enki's fingernails and Enlil? Why wouldn't Enlil? Because Enki usually in these old stories is the one that saves humanity. He's the kind one. And Enlil is the more militaristic one. But if we look at religion now, it's Enki's the one that is looked at like the devil, and more so than it's really interesting how things have changed so much through these. Another thing very interesting is Easter, Ishtar, Easter and star would be connected to Venus, right?
Yeah.
Because Easter in Christian belief, it's celebrating the resurrection of Jesus. But if Jesus is Dumazid in these ancient Sumerian stories, it's actually celebrating Inanna's resurrection, not Dumazid, which is oftentimes referred to as the great carpenter and the great fisherman. There's a lot of parallels to Jesus. So I'm wondering if Venus itself is connected to the Eastern star and Easter, or if it's something even more along the lines of Sirius now.
I don't know if she is or not, but I can say, Easter is hold on, back to unprofessionalism we go. Okay. Let's see if I can you see it okay? You can see up my nose good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, we can see up your nose.
Easter is like here, right? Like March, April-ish, okay? Over here, directly across is Virgo. Virgo's ruled by Venus. Easter is always celebrated the first, I think it's the first full moon after, what is it? It's based on the sun and moon position, basically. So you'll have the moon like over here, and then the sun is crossing over here. So you have this chasing of the sun and moon consistently. And here they like come together, but also here is Venus. Venus is like hanging out over here. So now when you talked about, I gotta go back in time for a second to the hook.
Please, totally.
Okay. The hook, you see the Scorpio tail?
Oh, the hook would be the Scorpio tail.
Yeah. So Scorpio looks like a J kind of, or like a hook in the sky. So when she's like cruising down and gets like hooked, that would be my guess, is that it's because of all the constellations, like this is the one that actually kind of looks like what it is. You know, it can be a hook or a scorpion tail. And in a lot of mythologies, particularly those of like the islands, it is a hook.
Oh man, that's powerful. Okay, that would actually makes a lot of sense. Let me read.
So the sun and the moon are always in this. Like all of our fairy tales and stuff, they're all based off of this. And you always have, you know, the sun chasing the moon chasing the sun, this kind of love affair, and they finally, like, sometimes eventually come together and are married, if you will. But there's also kind of the sun always chasing the dawn. There's always like a chase. And when you're going through houses or gates, you take on the sun when it comes in to each of these houses, puts on a different garb.
So who would Doomazid be then?
Doomazid's the one that agreed to, what did he do?
Doomazid's Inanna's king. Basically, she's the queen, he's the king. They're spouses, they're lovers. They're oftentimes incorporated as spouses in these stories and these ancient mythological figures.
The moon's spouse.
So it'd be the sun.
Well, the moon, yeah, it can be. It's going to be the sun in one of these garbs. The sun takes on a different personality. This is where all the characters come from. The sun has different characters. Okay, so we could go through here. I'd have to read more about Doomazid, but with a name like Doom, I'm thinking he's probably underneath the ecliptic because this is like doomy here.
I think it'd be more DUM.
Oh,
yeah, not DOOM.
I'm all doom.
Yeah,
doom, gloom,
doom. So
no.
Doomazid or Dumazi or Tammuz in Sumerian and Akkadian is Doomazid the shepherd, and the Canaanites or ancient Mesopotamia associated with agriculture and shepherds, like the great shepherd, the great fisherman, the first and primary consort of the goddess Inanna, later known as Ishtar. So Doomazid is also listed on the Sumerian king list as one of the early kings.
So if you look at here, just at this is without understanding, like also through here, there's going to be like rulers of each house, those that exalt in each house. So those are in deficit. There's a lot to learn, but even just what you said, like the fisherman, you know, it's going to be here in Pisces, then here in Pisces.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, or directly, like sometimes directly across, but you know, would you say the shepherd,
the great shepherd, the great fisherman? Yeah.
Yeah, that's very similar to the same thing as like I went through with like Jesus, all of his names that he goes through here.
So Jesus would be multiple houses as well in the zodiac?
That's where a lot of the names come from, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, they all come through here. They call him the scarab. Sometimes they call him the scarab. That would be up in Cancer.
Okay.
The Egyptian, they call him my scarab. They call him the lamb of God. Stuff like that, you know. So it's the same thing with these characters that you're talking about. So let's say one of the characters you're talking about, Doom-Izud.
Doomazid. Yeah.
Doomazid. Okay, so Doomazid's probably going to be the sun in one of these houses.
Oh, okay. And you know what's interesting also. Okay. And what somebody had brought up, and this is a great point. Mars and Venus oftentimes in astrology are considered lovers.
Yes.
So, yep. So if Inanna would be Venus and then Dumasid would be Mars.
Yep. Yep.
That would put a completely different perspective on Inanna's descent to the netherworld.
Yep, but it would be the same story.
Okay.
Whether it's Venus or the moon, there's going to be different relationship between them, but it's all going to be here, and they're all going to be going through the same houses. Well, the sun and the moon go through the same houses or the same gates. They're the only ones that stay within this path. The other ones are, kind of they don't stay between these tropics. They kind of go everywhere, right?
Okay.
So there would be language indicating that they're going beyond their bounds, being disobedient, wandering.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Okay. So they were cheating.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the answer is going to be to all the fairy tales, all scripture, all holy script. You can start to see what the characters are in this path.
So the path of the sun is so important on every level that you have shared. It definitely seems to be one of the constants.
It is the constant. That's why we're told to follow the Son of God.
I love that.
Yeah. Because we're taught that he's obedient, The sun is the only one that stays within like these boundaries.
Yeah.
In perfection, never failing, always giving, constantly giving, shining. He's never asking for anything in return. The sun's out there right now. It's the only light lighting up this room right now. The giver.
The light.
That's why we're told to follow the Son of God, because we'll have to go to it'd be like a ton to get into right now, but this path, even the Native Americans recognize that and they'll teach you that it runs through your body. This path runs through here. Runs through your body. That's why Aries and Taurus they have like the horns, the head, because they're here.
And then later religions tried to demonize that as something evil.
Correct.
And it's the exact opposite in its origins.
Yep. Well, it becomes evil. So for example, this is how it can become evil. It becomes evil when you use it for like to get over on people. Okay. So I know this path pretty well. I know how the sun can manifest in people's bodies. I can recognize as a trauma practitioner there's certain things that like a Sagittarius will most likely go through in their life that I can know. For example, a lot of Sagittariuses will always want dad's affection or approval without fail. Any Sagittarius in there, okay? They'll always be wanting to make dad proud, and sometimes they won't reach that. Okay, so as a trauma practitioner, I know that. Now I can use it to be like, I feel your grandmother speaking to me, or some kind of like trickery to make them think that I have some kind of special power, that I can see things that that no one should know. But knowing this and being able to see how, because the path of the sun does manifest in your body, and it manifests in how you manifest the energy. And once you learn it, you can see it in people. I'm like, that's an Aries, if I've ever seen one. Like the way they walk, the fire, stuff like that. So it becomes evil when you use it as a power to like uplift yourself, make yourself seem above others for money, for gain, for riches. That's when it becomes evil. Mm-hmm. When you hide the real truth of it. And the real truth of it is nature. It's just how nature works, the energy of nature.
Yes. Okay. I like that. I like that. Did you watch the Stranger Things finale?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
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 It was good. It kind of like the upside down and the military working on projects. It reminded me of like the Montauk Project and the MK Ultra stuff. And then the whole Dungeons and Dragons. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It makes you think like how much stuff out there that would be considered woo is actually just nature or a part of this, makeup that we're in. It's fascinating to think about. And then it makes you realize you got to be careful what kind of tunnels you're opening up. But yeah, that was wild. Very wild.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. And it just made me think about what you're talking about. Like it just is. And then one of the things, like what was the bad guy's main name in there? It started with a V or something like that. Vecna.
Yeah, he had a lot of different names, but yeah.
So Vecna was like the bad guy, and in the show they're like, well, even if we destroy Vecna, the underworld's still there. So it is what it is.
Yep.
And he was just utilizing that aspect of it. But one thing I found interesting was the meteorite that made Vecna into what he was he absorbed that piece of a meteorite, and makes you wonder if that's happened before.
Yeah, right. Very Supermanish.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Supermanish, but Lex Luthor Superman type.
Yeah.
Type Very interesting. I love your decode on the path of the sun and the way that you did that and the way that you explained the new year. That was awesome. That really makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Free people from the prison of you're a fool. No. Yeah.
Finger pointers.
Internet
warriors.
Yeah.
Very powerful internet warriors. Well, any other cool stuff you could share with us?
I think that's it, but I can help you decode that more. So if you want, that was just kind of like what first came to mind. So.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Please. Yeah. I'm very much, I've probably read the majority of the ancient Sumerian stuff that's available on Oxford's website.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much I've changed in 10 years, going from reading about the Anunnaki, thinking that they're space travelers, to oftentimes now I read about the Anunnaki and it seems like they're some type of metaphor for a planet or like Utu. UTU is an Anunnaki. And if you read about the flood that predates the biblical stuff, there's a flood story. And in the story, Utu, it describes Utu sending his light to the boat, and then the light is unveiled through like a hole in the boat. And the way that it's described, it sounds exactly like a sunbeam, a light beam, not a space traveling reptile or some space traveling alien. So there's a lot of, and like what you shared with me, that incredible decode on the native star people, and this book was showing the star people as not aliens, but actually stars made as people, anthropomorphic. Yeah. I was like, oh yes, I love that. I love that. That makes so much more sense. There's a petroglyph. Okay, let's just put in the perspective, folks, how much I've changed on the whole ancient aliens theory. I still definitely see they're out there. They've got to be out there somewhere. I think that the universe is way too big for them not to be. But so many people look at these petroglyphs and they're like, look, it's aliens, it's space aliens, it's star people, it's a wormhole. There is a specific petroglyph that I have seen very similar in different places, but one of them is let me see if I could find it here. I got to show you this because this should put things into perspective. Petroglyph panel in Utah. north of Moab. It's a really nice panel that has hundreds of petroglyphs on it. And I got to show this. It's so interesting. Moab starts with the S. Utah, SC. Here it is. Here it is. The Rochester panel. It's the Rochester panel. Here we go. Rochester panel. Pull up Rochester panel. All right. Let's see if this will pull up here. I've got to stand by, folks. You're gonna like this. And I'm making fun of myself. Now I just have to get the panel. I don't know, dude. Yep, there it is. Boom. Okay. So let me show this real quick. So you can go to Backroads West 1. Just subscribe to their channel. This is their video. I've got images of this. I've got a whole bunch of images of this, but I don't know. I mean, I have to go through a bunch of photos to find it. So this is what I want to show you, though. This petroglyph right here. See this, where it looks like you got this dude. You could definitely tell he's a guy. And then he's got these little antennas poking out of his head. And he's like holding something in his hand. And whatever he's holding, and if you look inside of it, it kind of looks like a gray alien a little bit. Like if you want to go on the whole alien theory. So at one point, I thought this was Ant-Man holding a portal to some aliens that were coming through. And I was like, well, another reason I'm thinking that is because if you look at it, look at how it's above all these other petroglyphs. So it's above it. So it's a wormhole. It's a space alien. It's an Anunnaki. It's an Ant-Man. It's something holding open a portal for some interdimensional beings. And I wasn't convinced, but I was like, that's what I think it is. And that's what I thought it was. Well, I found a petroglyph the other day, or let me see, Native American hides, animal hide. How to make one. Let me get a kick out of this. I thought it was pretty funny. Okay. So I'll just, right here. Boom. Hub pages. I'll show this one. This will put it into perspective pretty good. Dang it. Come on. No. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Here. Check this out. So space alien coming through an intergalactic portal, or dang it. I have so many screens here. There we go. Here. All right. Yeah. Space aliens or natives skinning and tanning an animal hide. I mean, they're so similar. I mean, to get the two mixed up, you could see how anybody could get those two mixed up. That's how much I've changed in regards to petroglyphs, folks, and ancient aliens and astronauts and Anunnaki and all that kind of stuff. I'm fascinated with all of it, and I just follow the data. I follow where the data takes me, and the data took me to this on that petroglyph. Not space aliens coming through an intergalactic portal, but just native traditions and native cultures. So, yeah. Next time you see a petroglyph and you think it's space aliens, open up a portal. Probably not. Takes away the cool factor, though, right? I mean, space aliens is way cooler, but I mean, the animal hides are pretty cool too. but a portal would definitely be cooler. So, and now I'm just making fun of myself, folks. Like, you don't need to make fun of me. I can do it plenty myself. Just saying. Work alert. Like, talk about getting something wrong. Just by a little bit. So we got to have fun with it. And so anyway, folks, that's kind of putting things into perspective. And if you still think exactly the same as you did 10 years ago, and you've been researching stuff every single day, like you're either just absolutely genius, or you might be doing some research wrong a little bit. Expand your mind a little bit, have an open mind, not so open that your brain falls out on your sidewalk, but it does have to be open to work. And on that note, this was fun. Thank you very much, Angela. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Hit the bell, be well, be excellent to each other. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is just a live action role play. Any similarities are pure coincidence. And be the change you want to see.